All right, the mics are on. Lights. Yo, we're doing the podcast.
Wait. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Damn, this guy.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth,
Yes.
the legend,
Yes.
in the flesh.
Welcome to Breaking Bread. I am your host, Miguel Rodriguez. We are here once again with my boy, one of the best, baddest R&B rappers. You guys got to check him out from the 305. My guy, Eric Nelson.
How you doing, guys?
Good, my man. Thank you for coming on the show. We greatly appreciate you for a second time.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
First time was a miss, but
Yeah,
it wasn't
it's
a true miss. We had great conversations, great talk. So, now that, with that said, we're going to touch on a lot of little subjects that we talked about back then. We're actually going to bring in something new as well. There was a lot of little things that we didn't get to talk about. And I get it. There was just so much going on at the time, and we were kind of getting to know each other. So, of course, we just started talking. It's like I felt like I've known Eric for fucking 10 years already, which is real, real cool, right? Anytime you get those good energies around you. I know he brought his manager today, which is real, real cool. We're going to touch on those subjects again. But you know what? Let's kick it off with, let everybody know again, where you're from, how this whole game came about, what you've been at for a little while, and just kind of kick it off and go from there.
Well, first, I'd like to thank you, Miguel, for having me again.
My pleasure.
As you alluded to, we had to do it again, and it's good that we did it again. So,
absolutely.
Excuse me. My name is Eric Nelson, and I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. I got into music extraordinarily young. I come from half my family is musically inclined.
Okay.
My mother specifically is where I cut my teeth, and I really learned. Well, my mom is classically trained in voice.
Oh, wow.
She played the piano. She did a lot of the things that you need to do to become an amazing singer.
Absolutely.
I was born with the mass majority of all of my mom's talent.
Wow. Nice.
So singing and being musically inclined comes naturally. So at a very young age, I was singing around the house, typical little kid.
Yeah.
And as I developed and got older, my mom, just being a mom and having foresight, she thought it was a good idea to take me to a Michael Jackson concert.
Nice. Okay.
So I was 7 years old. Excuse me, my mom. Excuse me. My mom throws me on a plane. We're in Jacksonville. We go to the show. We're sitting very far away, but it was a great experience. I can recall, having my glove on, the whole jacket, and doing my dances all the way to the car, and we leave. And I recall the Jackson 5 was coming to Fort Lauderdale at the end of their tour, maybe like a month later.
Okay.
But they weren't coming to Dade County because, like we talked about
Yeah,
back then, this wasn't the place to tour.
No,
Unfortunately, sadly enough. But
Yeah.
I guess the people in Miami were so jealous and enamored by the fact that they were going to be right there.
Correct.
They begged for another show.
Nice.
And it was on television, the newspapers. It was so
Man,
big.
shit, Michael Jackson's a big thing.
He's a big
King
thing.
of pop. That's
come on.
huge.
We needed to have him here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we actually got him. The Jackson 5 agreed. My mom got tickets the day they went on sale.
Nice.
Now we're row 8.
Wow.
So, if you've been to the Orange Bowl, which is no longer there anymore,
Yeah.
which is now the Marlin Stadium, it was shaped in a horseshoe.
For all the younger people that have no idea what that is.
For all you millennials. So where the Marlin Stadium sits used to be, the world famous Orange Bowl, and it was built like a horseshoe.
Correct.
Where the stadium was in the part of the end zone that's open, which makes sense. So if the horseshoe was like this, the stage is here. We were sitting right there.
Nice.
So there was a lull in the show. I don't know what part of the show it was, but it's the part where Michael decides to stand at the edge of the stage, and he's standing in a pose. He doesn't move. So you're watching. So here I am. I'm a 7-year-old. Okay, so mind you, I'm a 7-year-old, and I'm so close that I can see the sweat on his face.
Wow.
Like I can see his brothers, their clothes are drenched from all the movement.
That's wild.
And as you hear people scream all through the floor, Michael. I said, hey, let me give my chance. Michael, I love you. Like a little 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Michael turns to my section and he says, I love you too.
Wow. So you say, let me ask you this. Would you say that that's your moment that says, this is what I want to do?
Absolutely.
That
Because
was it.
when he turned, responded, the whole section erupted. After that, now I have a different focus.
Absolutely.
Now I want to see what this really is.
Yeah.
And Miguel, I'm 7 and I see a grown man pass out because now Michael's not in his stationary position. He does a quick move. This person passes out. Then that person. Then that person. Then that person. And it became a domino effect and a wave of people passing out.
That's wild.
No, I don't want to make people pass out. That's not
well,
what I'm saying.
I mean, it's a good and bad thing, right? It's a good and bad thing.
It's a good and bad thing.
And I know last time we talked about the same thing with the Travis Scott situation, and I know we went through that because I know
That's
you
the
have a
bad
security company, right? So one of the things we spoke about was being an entertainer, how you put in these situations where I mean, he did what he set out to do, right?
Correct.
So he wowed the crowd.
That's it.
Wowed everybody from the 7-year-old all the way to the adult, the grown man who just fainted and fell.
Absolutely.
But now because of the news and the way the world works nowadays, and we were talking about that last time, how you put all these kids in a crowd, and fortunate enough back then it was a little different, right? And your mom was able to pick the right seats, and put you in a situation where there was no harm. But poor Travis Scott got caught up in a situation where people started getting trampled because you got little teenagers in the middle of those crowds.
Which as I said the last time, and not to beat a dead horse, but for me, my music is not for 12-year-olds. No. It's not for children. It's not. My music contains explicit lyrics based on the fact that I'm an adult reaching other adults. This is not for kids. And I would never have a concert where you're going to see me advertising it to kids under 18 or under 21 years of age.
Absolutely.
Now, I do understand that the younger generation likes hip hop. I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can tell you the first song that I asked my mom to go and buy for me. You're talking about Luke Skywalker. You're talking about Luke. Hey, we want some pussy. So can you imagine that goddamn conversation that I had with my mom at 12?
That wasn't happening.
That was like, Mom, I want to get this record, but I can't say the word. I can't say the name of the record.
Yeah, for real.
And she's like, why? And I'm like, because it's a rap song and they use bad words, but it's the most popular song. It's the biggest song in America, and it's from Miami.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't care what they're saying. Let's go get it.
Oh, wow. Well, but I think your mom saw it in a different light, right?
She was
obviously, she's in the world of music.
Absolutely.
Educational wise, she did a great job with you.
Correct.
So I get where she comes from. And I think that's another issue that we have in today's world, right? Where parents don't parent, right? And I think that's a little different.
It's different.
Back then your mom would give you an ass whooping, that they don't give nowadays,
Yeah.
And there was a reason as to why they would do this stuff. Perfect example, again, even going back to the same concert is, I am pretty sure that if you really sat down the parents, and look, we never want tragedy to happen to anybody, right? That's the reality of it, and nobody would. But I doubt there was a parent who's told a 13-year-old, 20-year-old that says, hey, watch out for the crowd.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Saying? Yeah, be careful.
They don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? Get yourself some nice seats. You want to listen to Travis Scott? All right, cool. Yes. You know what? You're 13. Shit, I'm going to go with you.
Yes.
Let me watch the concert with you. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you, because I've personally gone to a Drake concert with my youngest one, and he wanted to go. And not that I was against the Drake concert. I was just like, damn, I really wasn't in the mood to go with my 13-year-old, 14-year-old at the time, right? But I was just like, you know what? Let me go check it out with him. It's Drake. It's good music. Fuck, what's the worst that could happen? You know what I'm saying?
And what did you see?
I ended up getting high seats where he could still watch it, still had a good time.
Correct.
And then he had a good time.
Correct.
So he got to enjoy what he wanted, and I got to enjoy two things: a concert, and time with my kids. So it was like,
and
he
was
fresh.
safe.
And he was perfectly safe. So I'm glad you said that, because it seems like, listen, man, your mom did right, obviously, right? And I tell this to everybody out there who's got kids, and those who don't, that later on you will, is, always teach your kids, because there's no better teaching than the one from home, And I think that, like you said, sometimes words don't mean anything, and they get it. It's a song. Just like there's households where there's guns involved, and they don't teach these kids, and all of a sudden all these accidents happen and stuff, because they never take the responsibility to go out and parent to these kids. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of sucks, because it's too many lives lost over stupid shit.
Over stupid shit every day. I tell all my friends and people that I know personally, I do have a security company. My father was a nuclear pharmacist. Okay, my dad was the first nuclear pharmacist, African-American, in the state of Florida.
Oh, shit.
And my dad was like number 5 in the country.
Wow.
My dad is from Gulfport, Mississippi. You think there were no guns in my house?
No, shit. They were all everywhere.
They were everywhere.
Everywhere.
But
100%.
you knew if you touched them, you were going to get fucked up. Like, that was just a part of it. And then I started shooting at 7 years old. So you're getting educated
100%.
very, very young.
100%.
Even down to driving a car. Miguel, I was driving a car at 7.
Shit, I was a little later at 12.
You know what I'm saying? But my dad thought it was
Yeah.
funny as shit
Yeah.
when I was going to friggin' small fry.
Yeah.
My mom would be in the passenger seat and my sister could be in the back seat. She's older than me. And my dad would be like, okay, he's 2 years old. He's 3 years old. We're 2 blocks from the house. How bad can it be?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Put me on his lap and I'd hold the steering wheel. And to their
Yeah.
amazement, I could keep it straight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, funny, yeah, but a lesson at the same time. So he knew what he was doing.
Absolutely.
Which was smart because now you put yourself in a situation where, or they put themselves in a perfect situation, right? Because the biggest thing that everybody worries about as parents, man, is having to fucking worry about your kid, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's what the issues that happen where, look, I could leave my kids to go anywhere and I don't have to sit back and worry about it and say, oh shit, my kids may be in trouble.
Correct.
No, I pretty much know what the fuck they're doing
And
because
you know
I've
what
done my
they're doing.
teaching at home.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So chances of them getting in some real trouble,
Not likely.
not likely.
No.
Doing stupid shit. Fuck,
Of
we're all
course.
kids,
We're
right?
all
So,
kids, yeah.
shit. Matter of fact, like I tell them, I'm like, yo, have fun. Just don't be a dick. Nobody
That's
likes
it.
to be a dick.
No,
you know what I'm
that's it.
saying? So do your thing.
And like you know, we talked about the last time, and I guess I don't know, but I'm gonna say it again. But you know, parents, it's okay to go to a concert with your kids.
Absolutely.
Kids
I encourage you.
Kids are fucking dope.
Absolutely. I encourage
Kids
you.
are absolutely dope.
They're going to bring a livelihood in you.
Absolutely.
They're going to have as much fun.
And you're gonna have probably more fun
Yeah,
than you ever
absolutely.
expected.
Absolutely.
Take your
I
kids,
agree.
man. Don't let your kids
I
go.
agree.
You know, I did Rolling Loud this past year, running security for the main stage. And I can tell you, in 3 days from Friday to Sunday, we had over 7,000 rescues.
Wow.
And when I say rescue, that's what I described earlier about a fan passing out.
That's
And
so
see, the
crazy.
domino effect comes from the heat index. So you have 70,000 people crammed up against a gate, and your body temperature is not at
Start
98,
rising.
you're at 102.
Yikes.
And then, you know, you have Travis Scott on stage and the crowd is being pumped up by the music.
Yeah.
And once the first person passes out, it becomes a domino effect.
That's so fucking crazy.
So every act, once the passing out begins, you have 70 guys in the front doing security. And now we're jumping over the railings because, you know, 25 yards into the sea of people, you have multiple people passed out.
That's wild.
They will die if you don't create space.
Correct.
Because there's no oxygen. There's all the oxygen is being, it's like a vacuum. It's being
Yeah.
sucked out of that particular area.
But it puts security in a tough spot because the reality is that logistically wise, no matter what you do, right?
Can't do it. Right.
It's almost
It's
impossible
impossible.
because there's either that or barricade certain groups, but then you're doing the
And we
same
do
shit
that,
because
but
there's no
you're-
way of getting
you're
out, so you're
corralling
kind of
people
stuck.
in.
Yeah, it's
You're-
even
you're-
worse.
People are stuck. Look, if you go to a concert and you want to be there first, the whole point of you going there first is not to get next to those rails.
Yeah.
If you're up against the rails and
To get the best seat in the house.
to get the
which
best
means-
seat in the
Yeah.
house, you have the worst seat in the house. Because
Yeah.
number one, from where your vantage point is, you really can't. You're gonna have a neck injury by the third day.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the whole point of going to see a concert is everything is elevated
Correct.
to make you look up.
Yeah, you were telling me that last
You know,
time.
it's
were
the-
telling
it's
me.
why
so
they-
describe to them because as an artist, see
Yeah.
the beauty with you is you got all kinds of perspectives, right? Because you got from the security part of
Yeah.
it to logistics on the event
Yeah.
to the artist part
Yeah.
of it,
And
and a
I've
lot of
also
people
managed
don't
artists, too.
understand that shit, right?
And I've managed artists too.
Nice. Okay, so now explain to them why it is that the artist is up there because people don't always understand that, and it
Okay.
was interesting last time you told me that because let me tell you, even as I kind of felt a little foolish because I was like, damn, you know what? He makes sense. That shit. I never thought about it that way, right? Because a
Yeah.
lot of times you go to a concert, you're like, yo, song, artist, yeah. But you don't realize
not-
what it
you're
takes,
not-
the
you're not-
dynamics of how it works.
Absolutely.
And I think that people don't ever really think about that shit. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up last time
Yeah.
because I'm like, fuck, one, it makes sense. So I'm gonna let you describe it
Yeah.
though. And two, I was like, all right, cool. So now when I look at a concert, I look at this
Now
shit
you
differently.
understand why.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know we're called stars, and the reason why we're called a star is the same concept that you have when you walk outside at night. When you look up into the sky, what do you see? You see wonder. You see flickering lights that bolster, they illuminate
Absolutely.
your imagination.
They catch your attention.
It captures your attention.
You wonder. It
You'll
gets the mind.
never be able to touch
Correct.
it. You'll
Correct.
never go there.
Right.
But your mind is.
Yeah.
That's why they call celebrities stars. And when you go to a major concert, they elevate them above the ground so you can look up with the same admiration and lure and love that you have for the stars in the sky.
Absolutely.
These people you can't touch. You probably will never meet them.
Nope.
But they give you the same feeling that the stars do in the sky, because it's so much wonder when it comes to a celebrity. It's so much to a human being.
Correct.
And that's what that's all about.
That's awesome. And you know what? And again, like I said last time, I really stepped back and I thought about that after we left, and I was curious. I was like, damn, man, that shit makes all the sense in the world. But you're right, because you are sitting up there. You know, even the ones that do put the chairs, it's funny because you're right. You're looking up the whole time.
The whole time.
And I'm thinking to myself, damn, like when you had that 8th row at the Jackson 5 concert, you had the best seat in the house because you're almost eye level with them.
Or you're looking down on them.
Right.
That is the best vantage point to look at a celebrity perform. It's not on the floor. That's the worst.
That is wild.
You can't see them.
That is wild.
So if you're paying, for the front row, that's great. But all you're really looking at is their ankles. You really,
no fucking fun in that game.
It's no fun in that game. You really can't get the full gist of being able to do that. Also, too, just to add a little spice to this particular podcast, I'm going live at the same time. So for everybody that's on my live channel right now, I appreciate you tuning in. I am on Miguel Rodriguez Breaking Bread. This is episode 6. You can see this on Sunday or after this Sunday coming on YouTube. That again is Miguel Rodriguez Breaking Bread. If anybody that is watching this podcast has any type of questioning for me or just questions that you have in general about the entertainment business,
drop it on there.
Please put them on here. Let me see your likes. Let me see your waves. Let me see the ones. It's time to show a lot of support and brain trust towards Miami artists. There's just too many of us here that are just bursting with talent.
Absolutely. And I know we spoke about that last time in the Miami scene. And we're going to talk about so many subjects because we got to do it last time and there was so many things that we wanted to talk about. But, it's funny now because Art Basel's coming out, right? So now like you get a lot of these artists as well out there. And that's... And I would love to see more of that in the game of music, right? For the world of artists here in Miami, because you do have so many about it. And I know last time we spoke about the underground world and that we don't get enough attention.
Correct.
But yet the ones that have pulled out have always been elite, which is crazy because you would figure, well, shit, if this is a pool of artists that we could go out and get, why are we not getting enough? It's almost like basketball, baseball, football out here. Where they all say, oh, go recruit Miami, right? And I know we spoke about the sports world. And it's wild because, there's a lot of guys here who come from the streets. There's a lot of guys who have friends in the streets.
Yes.
And there's a lot of background to it. And this city's so soulful, right? It's got so many different varieties of people from all over the world.
Correct.
Everybody's interactions are constantly different. It's a melting pot, right? There's not, you could sit here to one person and get 50,000 fucking stories.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to disrespect any other part of the country, but you go some places and it's the same shit for 20 years, right? Like you can tell the story ahead of time.
Correct.
So let's talk about a little bit about rap and actually just the artist scene in general out here in Miami and why hasn't it elevated to what you think should be?
Well, I think it's a combination of a few things. I think like every part of the country, Miami has its own unique sound.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people don't understand the significance of Dade County. Okay. You wouldn't have explicit lyrics in your rap songs if it wasn't for
Dade County.
No. You would not be allowed to curse, fuck the police, and whatever the hell you want to say if it wasn't for Luke.
True.
So once you understand that concept, now you're talking about, okay, so Luke Skywalker is the reason why Meek and Rick and T.I. and Nelly and Migos and this one and that one can be explosively expressive on a track in a way that no other genre of music does that.
No.
This is the only genre of music where an artist can actually be as explicit as needed to paint a picture for the audience to comprehend.
True.
I think there's an underground scene in hip hop that's always going to be there. It's all over the world. It's not something that will change because the root of hip hop is underground. Hip hop is not rap. Rap and hip hop are the same. Hip hop is the culture. Hip hop is not just music. It's a trilogy. Yeah. It's actually spoken word, graffiti, and breakdancing. Spoken word has been, I don't want to say given a melody, because spoken word, if you are a master at it, because I actually do spoken word, I can. There is a melody to it. There's a timing. Because there's no music behind that. And from that, you ended up with African Bambaataa. That's 1968, 1969.
Damn.
Okay. And from African Bambaataa, you get into the hip hop world, because this genre of music, which was considered a fad, was proven to those people wrong.
Correct.
Now these individuals have created a lane, a business structure, and they're creating monetary returns that not only you didn't expect, you didn't believe, but they're superseding rock and everything country and all that other stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Biggest stars are
hip hop artists.
I would say 80% of them are hip hop artists,
They are.
right? So
Even
anybody you talk to, the majority of them is don't know a hip hop name or an artist name over, let's say, a country music
or
even Latin.
If you're not Taylor Swift,
yeah,
I don't know who you are in pop.
Correct.
Not
Correct.
Really.
Nah.
You have to be at that level. That's
yeah.
like at that level.
Yeah, and I think that hip hop has been the probably one of the longest running genres that continue to climb and create new artists.
Yes.
Where a lot of other words will come and disappear.
It won't. I don't think hip hop is gonna get to a point where it'll become a dinosaur or something that'll be a fad. Hip hop is culture. Hip hop is clothing. Hip hop is sneakers. It's hats. It's the way
of life for certain people.
California wears their clothes, as opposed to New York.
Correct.
Houston. Correct. Miami, Florida.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
And you can see how my producer in Germany, how hip hop affects him.
In Germany.
And all his boys. And these are white and black kids in Germany. My producer just happens to be Russian.
Wow.
Living in Germany.
That's wild.
As fuck. And he is stupid as shit. Like this kid is off the chain. But when you talk to him about hip hop, he understands that it's a culture. It's not just beating on a fucking table.
Correct.
Hip hop is intertwined and involved in almost every aspect of
your life,
of popular life, period. It doesn't matter. You turn on the TV, you look at a Ford commercial, you got a hip hop. You look at a Panera commercial, they have an instrumental, a belly of a hip hop song.
Shit, just look at the artist. I mean, the athletes. I mean, every athlete wants to have a rap song, right? Everybody wants to drop an album. Everybody wants to be part of something.
Everybody.
Every sport event you go to, shit, from a walk-up song to somebody playing baseball to the NBA to the NFL. Hip-hop? It's all over constantly.
Everywhere, bro. They can't stop it. And they it's like you can't beat them, join them.
That's so wild.
That's why they went from hip hop and they said, oh no, this is rap. No, it's not. Rapping is the act of
what you're doing.
That's it.
It's not the culture.
No, man. The genre is hip hop.
Correct.
And we need to know that and really understand that it's hip hop.
I think a lot of people don't, and I think you look at the world outside of it, and this is why we have these deeper conversations. I'm glad because besides doing something that it is that you love and you have a passion for and you have a talent for, is people get to really understand where this comes from, right? Because I used to think to myself, like, shit, there's only so much shit that can happen to somebody that you could write about, right?
Yes.
But when you live in a lifestyle, a cultural lifestyle of certain ways, right? It's just like the person who eats all this healthy food and they live that lifestyle. When you talk to them, it's different. And you start understanding how this comes about and where it comes from, right?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times I was like, damn, bro, everybody can't fucking have a story, right? Like, come on, man. How many stories can you have? But when you live, you got those stories because that's your life.
That's your life. You can't take it away. You know, hip hop is personal as shit. You know, I have my own bias when it comes to hip hop. So, I started in pop because as a kid, from two Southern black parents, and then my mom was, as I said, was musically inclined. You heard everything in my house from Etta James to Aretha Franklin to Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, things like Billie Holiday, excuse me. Oh my God. Wes Montgomery was my dad's favorite. That's jazz, and you know, jazz and blues. My mom used to scat a lot, which is a style of singing.
Okay.
And I could show you that off air. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But my mom used to, the typical black family on a Sunday, all the windows are open, they're cooking, they're cleaning, and you're going through
Shit.
the
Thousands.
20s. She played the
songs.
20s for me, man.
Wow.
You know,
That is
big,
awesome.
big bass and big sound. And I grew up listening to a lot of classical music, a lot.
Something that's kind of gone.
Well, classical music is called classical for classy people.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, but when you get to a certain mindset, understanding ancient music in numbers is what it is for me.
Okay.
So what do I mean? The normal song you hear on the radio is 4/4 time signature.
Okay.
Simple. You're fucking listening to Beethoven, that could be 168 over 240. Okay, so you see how fast it's faster than that. So,
but it brings a relaxing melody to it, which is see, because like you say, it was meant for classy people, and I was like, you know what? I've always used it more as relaxation.
It is, but if you really go deep into classical music is very intense, super intense. Yes, there's lulls and there's parts that captivate you. I know one of the reasons Heavy D was so dynamic was because he studied classical music as a way to articulate himself through hip hop. I don't do it that way anymore. I don't, everybody has their own processes. Unfortunately, in our game today, especially when it comes to hip hop, I can come up with 1,000 reasons why, but I choose not to because it doesn't matter. The mass majority of the artists that you see do not write their own material.
Wow. So artists don't write their own shit?
For the most part, no. And, it's something that me personally, I take a lot of pride in.
Absolutely.
I was in college, in my 20s, and singing in a choir because it was something that my mom felt like I never did. I had no concept of alto, soprano, baritone, bass, tenor, and really how they work together. And I'm already in my 20s as a professional R&B singer with no vocal lessons.
I was going to say, is that how R&B kind of came into your life? Was that the easier segue to go through naturally because of your background? I
mean, yeah, it was the easiest thing to do because it was really all that I knew.
Okay.
Singing was something that I just did naturally. It's something that I can do naturally now. I don't want to say it's easy because it's not. I think I've been doing it so long that there's a level of ease for me when I sing.
Well, it's like, and I relay a lot back to sports as I play sports, and I know we've talked about sports before. Yeah. It's like an athlete who's got that natural talent, right? Yes. So there's some guys that, look, if you run a 4.2, that's God-given,
that's
right?
God-given,
you throw 100 miles an hour,
that's
God-given. It is what it is. You're built a certain body type, that's God-given, right? Yeah. Just as time goes along, you fine-tune your tools and you sharpen them.
Absolutely.
And you get better at it. And then like you're able to do multiple things in your case. Correct. That it's like almost being a 5-tool player in baseball, right?
I am a 5-tool or a 6-tool
in your world, right?
Really
and
am.
That's interesting because most people, or not most, a lot of people can't do it, right?
They're not.
They're stuck to one genre, and they could either do it. They could either rap or they could actually sing, or whatever. And that's interesting because you could do multiple. Correct. So I get where you're coming from, and I can understand where the R&B side comes from it because I know we spoke about it last time. You're like, yo, I can actually really sing.
Like I can really fucking go. But it's funny because my manager is like, nah.
Not He's for like, what we're doing.
Nah, you're not singing shit. Don't sing shit. But there's so like the song that you have Morning Sun, and then there's the next release, which is Random Thoughts. We just shot the video for it about 2 weeks ago, so it's in the editing process. The next song is called The Sequence, and I've already I've done the illustration as far as what the music video is going to be about.
So let's talk a little bit about that, right? So is Morning Sun and Random Thoughts kind of like a sequel back to each other?
No, at all. So real quick, like in 30 seconds. When I procured a manager, when I got Carlos,
Okay.
I had to play him my music first.
Okay.
Even though, as I told you the first time, Carlos was coming to sign me.
Okay.
Because we have a mutual friend
Yes.
that I've known since I was a kid.
Yes.
And he's my big brother, one of them. And my mom passed away in April. So this passed, and thank you. And, you know, he knew that I needed help around my home.
Okay.
So he sent the best general contractor in the city, who I thought was coming to fix my home, but they had a different plan.
Yeah.
So once that plan was realized, I said, look, you really need to hear my music before you make this decision. So
Okay.
took him upstairs into my studio, and I don't know, man, I got 200 songs, man.
Wow.
I have a lot of shit. I've written over 1,000 records.
That's wild.
And it's funny, the last time I came here, I was in here writing a new song.
Yeah.
I finished
We
that
spoke
shit.
about that.
I finished it when I left.
That's
I was
wild.
writing a new one on the way here
let me
today.
tell you, like I said that time, and I'll say it again now. I was very, very, fuck, what's the right word? Because I was in shock a little bit, but I was kind of inspired because I'm like, damn, like Eric's sitting here and I'm trying to prep my shit, and then you're just singing and putting your lyrics down and making the shit sound right to you. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, this man is so concentrated on what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah,
that is wild to me because again, you know, coming from the world of sports, it's I always realize how these athletes are in their own world. The fucking world outside doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And I see you here doing your same shit, sharpening your tools, writing your shit. And it brought me back because I'm like, damn, you know, if most of the world was actually like that, and you sit down and you just try to better yourself every fucking day,
it's a wrap.
Bro, we'd be in the best fucking world ever.
It's
you
a
know,
wrap.
we wouldn't be in the situations we are today. But talk to me a little bit about Morning Sun, and we'll go into random thoughts. We're also going to talk about Carlos because I know there's a lot to it.
Yeah,
but I want to make sure that people also know
Yeah.
the type of artist you are, where it comes from. You know, a lot of things we got to speak about last time that we didn't get to. And I don't want to rush things, so I just prefer that we go into it little by little. But talk to us about Morning Sun and where that came from first.
Morning Sun was written out of pain. George Floyd was murdered 2 years ago.
Okay.
And, you know, I have had several conversations with people, police, non-police, and I've even had people say, well, you know that he had a lot of drugs in his system. Yeah, but he died of asphyxiation, so that's not from drugs. So the procedures that police use to subdue a subject that is not resisting arrest is absolutely heinous. The way that the mandates in the police academies are brought upon these 18, 19, 20-year-old men and women, white, black, green, blue, yellow, purple.
Doesn't matter.
The mandates are fucked up.
Yeah.
When you have a mandate to stop someone 16 to 25, African-American male or Hispanic male, if you find nothing, find something. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to reveal my age or whatever, but when I was a kid and I was 7 years old and my mom or my dad or both parents and we're all out and we're at Publix or we're in the mall or whatever, if I saw a Metro Dade fucking police officer, it was a mad dash to that motherfucker.
Yeah.
They were the coolest fucking people
100%.
around was a police officer, especially before we had patrol cars, where the patrol car became a part of their equipment, where they used to walk the communities and they were everywhere.
They were part of the community.
They were a part of the community.
Absolutely.
They were actually public servants.
Absolutely.
Now they're not. They're dictators.
Yeah.
And they are given, they're given tactics to put the citizenry in a position of vulnerability,
all the time.
and it's always to fail. That's why I always tell people, if you have been pulled over by a police officer, and even if you're speeding, you ran a stop sign, but you are not a bad person, just fucking do what you got to do. Don't give this person a reason. And when I say that, I mean, give them the information they're asking for and nothing else. If they ask you outside of license, registration, and insurance, where are you going?
Don't answer.
Don't answer that fucking question.
Yeah.
Don't
business.
answer that, because once you answer that question, you've opened up Pandora's box for him to pull you out of the vehicle. They can start asking you questions. All the questions that they're asking you is to put them in a position to violate your rights, period. The end.
Correct.
And I own my own security company. I deal with cops all day. I train with cops. I train with SWAT. I train with Navy SEALs. I am really not Paul Blart, the mall cop. I am TAC sound. Okay. That's not what it's about. So when I saw George Floyd's life being taken in that manner, it upset me. It upset me to the point that here we are in 2020, and the level of violence that is against my race of people in this country is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, we're at a point now where if you still feel like you're better than my race, you need to jump off the nearest fucking bridge.
Well, I know
What
we
the
spoke about
fuck?
I know we spoke about this last time, and I'm surprised that in today's world, because we were just talking about it back when we were growing up, we never had that issue.
No.
Right? Like that
Not
shit
like
was
that.
that shit. I mean, listen, there's gonna be racism everywhere
Yes.
at a smaller number, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what community or what race we are. But it's not like it is today,
No.
where there's this hateful hate to hurt somebody intentionally, where it was never like that before. Like you said, the cops back then, listen, they had to do their job, right? Everybody's fuck. If
Yes.
you're committing a crime, that's their job to
Then
stop
you're
it
gonna get fucked up.
and do what they got to do.
See.
But they were part of the community, so it
Yes.
was always different. They knew who they had to help. They knew who to look out
Yes.
for. You know, there wasn't this sense of overly power that they
Yes.
have nowadays, that it's
It's
easy to
too
draw
much.
a gun on anybody.
It's too much.
You know, there was never conversation. It's like, fuck, now everybody walks up to you with a gun. And it's like, holy
Yes.
fuck, I haven't done anything. So
Yes.
what are you scared of here? And now
Yes.
you're just putting the situation fucking intensified by 100 times for no fucking reason,
No
which is really
reason.
fucking crazy.
No reason.
You know, as opposed to a simple conversation that says, hey, listen, you were speeding.
That's it.
You know, just give me your license, your insurance, slow it the fuck down, chill out, whatever the case may be. There's no guidance. Now it's this fucking pistol whipping. Let me fucking show you who the tough guy is. And I feel like as time has gone, but I think that's everything in society, right? Whether it's social media
Yeah.
or whatever, it's like there's no sense of regulations anymore. It's like
No.
nobody gives a fuck.
It's Wild Wild West.
Right. So it's really wild. So I get where you're coming from. And I say this to everybody. Look, you know, I first of all, nobody should die at the hands of anybody else, right?
Nope.
That's first and foremost. And I wish George Floyd's situation would have been different, and maybe he wasn't in that situation where he could have acted differently. But as a police officer, you're expecting this person to help you, right? Regardless of the fucked up situation you're in, because fuck, if I can't depend on you,
Who can I depend
who
on?
the fuck am I gonna depend on?
Absolutely.
You know, and that. So I get where you're coming from, because that to me is like, damn, I wish the shit would have worked out a little different, because chances are one little simple thing
Could have saved his
could have
life.
saved this man's life.
Absolutely.
And then been a lesson for the guy who said,
Absolutely.
fuck, you know what? This guy helped me out. Maybe I should chill the fuck out. You know, because we always need that one person who just stops us, but in the right thing, right? It's like fuck, every time you did something wrong, your parents didn't fucking kill you. They
No,
beat
they
your
didn't.
ass,
They
so
beat
you
your ass,
learned.
or you learned. or
You spoke about it.
Correct.
You understood why you did wrong.
Correct.
But fuck, you were ready to go the next day.
Everything
Ready to
is
do your
about
thing.
money now.
Yeah.
Everything is
unfortunately.
about money now. And, you know, when you look at everything in our society, especially when it comes to the police, police officers is the only profession in this fucking country where they're never wrong. They don't make mistakes. They have a perfect fucking track record. I
Yeah.
have never seen the buffoonery. How do you? Okay, let's do it like this.
Go ahead.
And I have nothing against cops.
No, shit.
right.
You fuck you. You're
Trust
in the world of security.
I'm in the world of
So
security
you-
on a high
you
level.
can't-
I rely
I know
on
a lot
them.
of cops which are really
I
good
do-
fucking people.
Exactly.
So I get it. Just sadly enough, if these topics are not spoken about,
Yeah.
then we're never gonna get to the fucked up ones either, right?
Correct.
Because no matter shit, you could be a doctor, you could be an attorney. I know a lot of guys that are great. I know some fucking guys that are scumbags. Fuck, there was just one in the news recently who was sedating fucking clients and then
Raping
sexually raping them.
Of course.
So that guy being a doctor is just as shitty as a
As
cop who
cop
does
being-
some fucked up shit.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
so I agree with you.
I don't
the conversation
understand.
has to be had.
It has to.
Because regardless of what it is you shouldn't allow one. And you're right, you should be
No.
held responsible no matter what for what the fuck you do.
Yeah.
If you did right, shit, then listen, there's nothing to hide. But if you didn't, then
Let me ask you this.
go ahead.
Let's just say hypothetically you live in Pinecrest. I'm not going to ask you because we're on and nobody needs to know
Yeah,
where we live.
no,
All right.
yeah.
You live in fucking Pinecrest. So you got Pinecrest police
Right.
that are patrolling a neighborhood they can't fucking afford to live in.
True.
Can't afford that shit. Bro.
From the get,
Stop playing.
they're already angry.
So did you know that cop has immunity?
No. Didn't know that.
Every cop in America has immunity. Why? A police officer is the only job in the world that must kill. They have to kill you. It's the only job that you will ever take
That is fucking
where
crazy.
they are going to take your fucking life. They walk into a bank, You shoot back, they're gonna kill you. It's the only job.
That's so fucking crazy.
Immunity gives them the access to do all this killing and get away with it because you're being judged by your peers. It's not like they're getting an independent arbitrator to look at the investigation. No, you're being judged by your peers. Right. The reason why you're seeing cops actually being criminalized is because the pressure the community is finally putting.
Absolutely.
America, wake the fuck up. Your forefathers built this bitch for us to go against the status quo, right, not to be programmed by it.
100%.
And when you look at, the things that are going on, I mean, you got to just say, okay, when is enough enough? If you can be racist and go to a fucking football game and cheer for that same black guy, what the fuck?
Oh, you're a fucking moron.
Oh, if you're playing ball, you're not a nigga. Yeah. What the fuck? Tennessee is the #1 state in our country for that shit. That's if you play for the Tennessee Volunteers, period, you're not black.
That's wild.
But if you go to watch the game and you are a Tennessee Volunteer student, you're a nigga. And they treat you like that. Don't let Tennessee lose. See, Knoxville College is right there. Knoxville College gets abused when they fucking lose. That's an all-black college, man. That's HBC.
That's so crazy.
And the only reason why I know that is my best friend went to Knoxville College. He played fullback.
That's so wild because again, like I know we spoke last time, and honestly, I've never, and I talk to my kids now, and I've never experienced that before. Like, I have so many fucking black friends, Latin friends, Chinese friends. It never mattered to me. To me, it was you were a good person, you're a bad person, right? And if you didn't fall within the world that I wanted to be around or live,
see you later.
You just weren't part of it. It didn't fucking matter, And we've shit. You've probably ran into more than I have. I just met people along the way. I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of people, which is exactly why I'm doing this fucking podcast. And I love talking to people. Right. But I've met all kinds of walks of life. And honestly, bro, like you don't fucking know who's who.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying? So
you don't. So what does it matter?
Yeah. Who gives a fuck about the color of your skin? That shit don't mean nothing. No. Fuck, I'm white as fuck and I'm Latin.
And you're Latin.
So you be fucked.
So what are you saying? You're going to call me a white boy and you're wrong.
And you're completely wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's fucked up. Yeah. But yet you don't know me. Which is really fucked up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because take your time and you'd be surprised to
I'm okay.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh fuck, this pretty cool guy or whatever. Nice
absolutely.
guy. So that's wild, but I get where the song comes from because it's a time of anger all over the country. It was an outcry to fuck. Let people know how the fuck I wake up and how I feel every day, which is fucked up because you're right. As a black man, as a Latino, as whatever, that you have to worry about what the fuck you're getting somewhere, bro. That's fucked up. That's not what this country's about.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
And for what? That's why, all of my songs, I have a process. I'm spiritually writing my process. I'm Eric right now.
Absolutely.
I'm not an artist. I'm not an entertainer.
Yeah.
I'm just me.
Correct.
But when I'm in my artistry, that's my gift. That's my spirit world. So my spirit does all the writing. It does all of the formatting and all of those things. This particular record, I was standing in my middle of the room screaming the words of the song. Wow. And I didn't realize it until because that watching those 8 minutes, it made me want to pick up a gun. And my father is from one of the most racist states in America, which is Mississippi.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It's not I think the most racist state in our country is Massachusetts. Out of Boston, Massachusetts specifically is like the most racist place on our. Yeah. It is. I have been walking down neighborhoods because I lived in Boston for 2 years, and walking down a neighborhood, going to get tatted, and I won't even say where I was or where I'm going, where I was going, and the dude. Which I was like, wow, this is kind of cool because 30 years ago, it wouldn't have been like that. I just would have got mobbed.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the block trying to find my way, and white dude pops out. And he was like, yo, you know where you are. As soon as he said that, I'm a Southern black man. When a white man says, you know where you are,
well,
he's talking about like, yo, like nigga, do
you
know where you are?
Yeah.
Like, look around.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, what's up? And he was like, oh, you're not from here. And I'm
who
like,
gives a fuck?
I'm like,
which
I kind of, because I'm not a little dude, but at the end of the day, bullets don't matter how big you are.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So he was kind of like, oh, you're not from around here? I'm like, no, I'm from Miami. What's up? He was like, yo, I don't mean no, you in all
Get
white.
Get the fuck out.
Like skinhead neighborhood.
Get the fuck out.
If I were you, I'd get in your car and get the fuck out of here. It's broad daylight.
Wow.
Beantown.
Get the fuck
Did
out.
I do what he said? Did I do what the fuck he said? Damn right.
Yeah.
Got the fuck
100%.
out of there.
Yeah.
100%.
Fuck, he gave you a heads up.
He could have just been like, and
Yeah.
then boom, they
100%.
were mobbing me. You know, it's
That's
not like
so fucking wild.
and 2018.
That's wild.
How about that? 2018 that happened.
That you know what? You've left me in shock because I would never. I mean,
Because you
look,
live in a safe haven.
Well,
Miami's
yes and
a
no.
safe haven.
I get it. I get it only on the app. Because even to me, right? So it happens that because I'm so fucking white, right?
Yeah.
That I look fucking hillbilly as fuck. When I go up north, I can only fucking nod. I can't fucking
You can't
talk.
speak. No.
But as soon as some shit comes out of my mouth,
You're done.
You're done. They
You're done.
automatically know
They
who the
know.
fuck you are.
Oh, that guy's Cuban. Nah, we're not
Correct.
fucking with you.
So I've learned to
Yeah.
nod, you know,
Yeah.
especially when you go into the Tennessee
Absolutely.
mountains,
Yeah.
you know,
The
Georgia,
gas stations
kind of
and shit.
all those little weird
Absolutely.
fucking towns.
Of course, bro.
Because, you know, everybody, you know, welcomes me at the beginning like, oh, fuck, okay, here's this
Good,
white
another good old
American
boy.
dude. you
Yeah,
know?
another good old boy.
Yeah, I remember one
No.
time I was offered like fucking free parking, like if I was part of the military and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude,
No.
I ain't never been nowhere to that
No.
shit. But I learned that as soon as I spoke,
It's
I
over.
fucked it all up.
It's all over.
And you would never think because ignorance to a certain point,
Yeah.
you know, you say, because we are blessed by having the communities that we live in here in
Yeah.
Miami
Miami's
and
safer.
having that melting pot that
Yeah.
we don't see that shit outside of
Not
here.
really.
So to us, it's like
Foreign.
fucking normal.
What are you talking about?
What the
Yeah.
fuck you doing? What you fucking saying,
And that's
bro?
why I tell all my friends that, like, my boy just said Cartier on the live. He was like, damn, man, I wish we had this kind of love in Houston, being that I'm on this podcast.
Well, let me say this. Now he's saying that. Let me look. It starts from one person, right?
Yeah.
And if you are that person, then be that person.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us say it, but then nobody fucking
Nobody-
does
no
nothing about it
action.
either. So then guess what? You're part of the fucking
You're
problem.
part of the problem too,
Right?
yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other issue that I would love for people to do. And listen, I did this shit late in my fucking life. This whole podcast. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
best part.
And I did it, and I did it mostly because, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to talk to a lot of people, meet a lot of fucking interesting people.
Right.
That to me was like, damn, let's let everybody, as many people I know, go out there and listen and see different perspectives. Because
Absolutely.
don't see it from fucking my eyes. That's
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
I want to see it from
From your
yours
opinion,
and everybody
yes,
else's. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
So that the
absolutely.
world fucking says, okay, this is the way shit should be. And listen,
Absolutely.
we're not going to agree to everything, right?
No.
There's thoughts and shit that, you know, maybe not now because we're talking on the same subjects, but along the way, I guarantee you go your
We'll
way, I go my
disagree.
way, and we'll
Absolutely.
disagree on shit like that.
Absolutely.
It's the way he sees it. And that's cool
Yeah,
too.
and that's cool too.
That's part of it, right?
Education.
And fuck, maybe I'll listen to you and be like, damn, Eric, why do you say that shit? And at that point in time, what comes out of your mouth might determine what I say.
That's
Shit,
it.
damn, maybe he's got a point.
That's it.
Just like I said with the whole thing of you standing
Correct.
up as a star.
And stars.
I
Yeah.
never thought that.
Correct.
Pure ignorance to me was like, man, these fucking people get up on a stage and shit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Spending
Yeah.
all this money.
Yeah.
They don't fucking acknowledge every fuck you. You know?
Yeah, but that's
and now
why they don't.
I get it.
Lure.
Right now, it's like, holy fuck. All right, now this is why I came to this concert to see this
Yes.
fucking person perform.
Absolutely.
So now I got where I come from, and a lot of times I think that we don't take the time to kind of educate ourselves a little bit. And what I mean by that is, bro, you don't have to pick up a book. You just
No.
gotta talk to people,
That's it.
talk and listen.
That's
you know what I'm
it.
saying? Everybody's
Listen.
situation is different, man.
That's it.
You know, everybody comes from a different background. Everybody's going through different shit all the
Mhm.
time. So you know those few steps of just listening to people, man. So I hope your man Cardi goes out there and starts talking to people in Houston, because guess what? I think that'll make a difference. And if
It
we could
will.
all do that, man, it'll change. And listen, you're gonna have people that disagree with you, and that's
That's
cool.
it.
There ain't nothing
Disagreement
wrong with
is, disagreement is halfway to discovery.
that. Yeah. Well, I think it's good. You
It
know,
is.
everybody can't think alike.
No,
right?
you're not supposed to. You're
And-
supposed to bring a little bit
Yeah, a little bit of
to
different.
the table,
Correct.
and we put that meal together,
Yes.
and we eat it,
And that's how we go.
and that's how
100%.
it goes, man. You know,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
we talked about in the last thing I wanted to just say real quick to everyone who's listening is the business that I'm in is hard. Okay, the business that I'm in is hard. I'm gonna say it one more time. The business that I'm in is hard. So I'm gonna give you perspective, all right? And when I say that, I'm gonna give you something to compare when you are looking at an artist and everything out of your mouth is negative about a person you don't know, you'll never meet, and you have no concept of the world they're in. I average 2 hours of sleep a day.
Wow.
I haven't even. Okay, this This is how my career is right now, Miguel. So you can ask me about all the artists that I revere and I look up to and blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is a race. All right. If you're at the finish line, you have retired or you're dead. So you have a starting point, and then you have all these people. To me, Jay-Z is at mile 20. And then you have your Busta Rhymes and all those people that were in his era. All these people are at the 17 and 20 mile marker right now. Yeah. Okay. You have your T.I.s, your Meeks, and your Rick Rosses, and all these fabulous J. Coles and your Kendrick Lamars and MCs in that realm. They're at the 7 mile mark. Yeah. Okay. Eric Nelson just pulled up to the fucking race.
Warming up, ready to go.
I just got out of the vehicle with my management. We are in the registration line. We are registering to get to the fucking starting block. I haven't even hit my first 10th of a fucking mile. And I'm averaging 2 hours of sleep. I own my own label, my own publishing company. I own my own studio. I am building my own film company. I have my own management company, security company. I'm building my own advertisement and marketing firm. When the fuck am I going to sleep? What are you talking about?
No time to sleep. Sleep when you're dead.
Hear me say it again.
Sleep when you're dead.
So if you think you need to rest in this realm, that's why you don't have the things that you want in your life.
Absolutely.
Everybody that is successful, and it doesn't matter what genre of
any industry,
anything,
any industry,
they don't sleep.
No,
you can't.
No, I mean, I'll give you this: you're gonna sleep more than I do because I don't do the 2 hours.
Yeah,
but I'm between that 4 and 5.
I get 2 to 4,
and only because I feel in my particular case, which shit has to happen to you because fuck, you got to think a lot more than I do for sure. is not physical, right? Because after a while, it's not like it's all mental. You're drained. But I know we spoke about this last time, how it's so fucking interesting. And this is where I really give the artist the most props more than anything else, is how you could put thought to paper, right? Because we all think, right? And everybody thinks, right? Fuck, if I do this, oh shit, if I do this, and all of that. But what happens is a thought doesn't become a fucking plan until you put it on a piece of paper.
And then there's action, absolutely.
Right? And just like a song doesn't become shit till you put it on paper. And now you start, again, like I said, fine-tuning it and getting it to where you want to. And that shit takes hours. That's just one, right? So forget about everything else you just said. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the part that people don't fucking realize, the amount of work you got to do.
I don't. Okay. This is something that is like personal, but I think it's relevant and pertinent to the conversation. I don't do personal, because in the business that I'm in, my personal life is all I got. Yeah, that's the only privacy that I have. So I don't.
You protect it
like a motherfucker. Like, and don't. 100%. And everybody needs to understand, like, yo, when it comes to my, and I mean just everyone, media, everyone. I'm violent when it comes to my personal life. Like, I'm violent. Like, you need to leave me the fuck alone when I'm asking of it, because I'm the kind of artist that's like this. All right, we're gonna go to, because even Carlos is like, bro, you're fucking great. And I'm like, bro, this is how we're gonna get rid of paparazzi. This is how we're gonna fucking deal with them. So when I go to LA, pick up the phone, call the motherfuckers, tell them exactly where I am, give them the time frame where they can shoot all the pictures that they want. When that shit is over with, get the fuck away from me. Don't come back. Don't come back. Don't follow me. Don't troll me. Don't anything, because I got all kinds of technology to fuck you. Leave me alone. Yeah, I'm in a security world. So
you know what's interesting, that again, I'm glad you said stuff like that, because for all the artists and athletes that do watch this, because I know you guys do, which is going to be wild. Listen up, because this is a very important thing. And when it comes to family, once you get to a certain part of your profession, whatever that is, that is your profession. That's what people know you for.
Yes.
So you have such little private time that you cherish that shit so much. Absolutely. That it's like, damn, be respectful of my time. Like I am respectful of your time, right? Like you've come into my show and, welcoming, and you've been respectful of our time. Because I know we spoke about this last time. That's right. Your phone's aside, you're doing what part of the show is, as opposed to saying, oh shit, let me do 100 other things, right? And that is the difference that people don't fucking realize. Like, look, first of all, there's no shortcut to success. Let me be very fucking clear for all of them who think that there is. There isn't. That's number one. Number two is, understand that as a professional, we don't get involved in your life. Don't get involved in our life. Absolutely. That's not the way we go about stuff. And I want to make that clear, because I think that a lot of people, like you said, don't know an artist or other people and constantly talking shit, but yet you don't know who this person is. Yeah. So how about you step away from that and say,
Yeah.
okay, listen, either I fuck with this dude based
Or
on
I
his
don't.
music and I like what he brings to the
That's
table,
right.
or I don't. And that's fine because we're not made for everybody.
No,
And that's
everyone's
cool.
not gonna like my
Yeah,
music, and
yeah.
that's okay.
We're not made for everybody.
It's all right.
But for the ones that are, know the message.
And absolutely,
You know, and those are the ones we want to follow. But it's interesting you say that because you've done it very fucking smart where you say, you know what, media, paparazzis, you know what, man, here's my 10, 20 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you got to do.
And let me alone.
But then leave me alone.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If I have all this other shit going on, then I'm not even that good as a fucking artist because I got to worry about shit that I'm not supposed to be worrying about.
At all.
I got no time for that
And
shit.
that's what I've learned, just living my life and going through different experiences, and then having someone like Carlos who understands my mindset a lot more than most people do.
Let's talk about a little bit more about Carlos. Because I know he came later into your life.
Yeah, Carlos came right after my mom passed away, and literally I would say a week after I buried my mom, he came to my house, walked around the house, and he basically made a declaration in my house to my mom, you don't have to worry about this guy, I got him. Ever since then, Carlos has shown me what my talent means. I understand that I'm talented. I get that. I've always known that I have abilities beyond music. Like my talents are really endless. I don't have limits.
Correct.
My mind is an open canvas, and one of the things that I stress to everyone or people that want to do what I do, or you want to do anything in your life and you're at a crossroad or you're having a lot of problems. One of the things that I did was I sat in the dark, literally in the dark. And if you're in the dark and your eyes are closed and you know you have all this shit in your mind is lit up.
Yep.
So you're in a dark room with all of these images that are running through your mind. You have to get to the point where you can squeeze out all the fucking light.
Quiet the noise.
Until it's complete darkness. So you're in a room that's dark and now your mind is dark.
Yeah.
You're the architect.
Absolutely.
So at that point, you have just proven to yourself that all that bullshit and all that noise was exactly that.
Exactly.
Bullshit and noise.
Don't mean shit.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
Look at how powerful your mind is.
Yep.
It's all gone.
100%.
So now, what the fuck do you do?
100%.
Create what the fuck you want in your head.
Yeah. Well, let me say this, and adding to that, I think that the biggest issue with most people is that they don't realize that consistency is your biggest fucking friend. Forget desire, forget anything about it, right? There's days you probably get the fuck up and you feel like shit.
Oh, every day.
You're still singing, writing.
Every day, bro.
Doing your thing, right? And that's what the part that people don't realize. Because I've always said, oh, because I'm motivated. No, listen, fuck that.
Fuck that.
Do you think the guy in the fucking military's got to go fucking train at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in
He's
the morning?
not motivated.
For a fucking war that he may or may never have.
He's not
He
motivated.
ain't fucking motivated.
He's not motivated.
He's fucking consistent.
It's
and that's what
consistent.
the military teaches you.
That's
Because
it.
later on in life, that's why you see when these guys get out and retire, they're still doing the same shit.
Same shit, and they can function, even though some of them have war issues. And
Well, but that's right. That's
extreme.
That's not only an extreme. That's just part of what you signed up for, right? It's like the NFL player who gets hit so many times in the head. Eventually, you got PTSD or
and all that
CTE,
bullshit.
whatever.
Yes, yes.
Right. So that's kind of the shit that kind of goes along with the field you chose,
Correct.
right?
Nature of the business.
But the consistency is you as an individual. And what happens is, and I'm going to say this because I've gone through what you're saying of sitting by yourself, never in a dark room, but just really by myself, or where you could try to meditate.
Yeah.
And what happens is you hear all this noise, right? And then you do it once and you do it twice, and then you fucking quit because you're like, fuck, man, I can't shut this shit up. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You've been going fucking 5, 10, 20, 50 fucking years listening to the same thoughts,
bullshit.
and you've never broken it down where you're able to, like I said, that's why it's so magical when you're able to put thought to paper.
Yeah.
Because that changes.
Peeling your onion.
And I could tell people, look, if you can't quiet the mind, then start writing it down.
Yeah, because that will quiet the mind.
Yeah, just get a piece of paper and put it out there. And you're going to have all kinds of shit. You're going to be all over the place. But little by little, you'll start realizing how it starts guiding you in a direction where you start getting into details and things start changing for you. And that's interesting because a lot of people don't do it. I tell that shit to people. I'm like, man, you think I want to do shit all the time? No, listen, I'm learning a new industry, just podcasting. And this is a motherfucker.
Right.
Like, I didn't think I had to study this much or do this much shit.
Oh, but then how are you good then?
My point. But now I see myself, I sit in front of a mirror, I record myself, I delete myself, I criticize myself, and I keep working at it because now I want to get good at it. Now I want to be really fucking good at it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's the biggest difference. So I'm glad, having a guy like Carlos into your life who could sit down and say, hey, listen, you know what, bro? Let's quiet this shit down.
Everything is mental.
Right? The talent you have. It's like the first round pick
Yeah.
who never fucking develops.
So what are you gonna do
Right?
now?
So now where we at? We have
Yeah.
all these tools.
So now
all right,
what?
now what the fuck we do with it?
And it's all mental at that point. It has to be, you know, it doesn't matter what you want to do in this world. You know, I used to be the person to listen to podcasts or listen to interviews with famous people or other people, and they would say, hard work pays off. And I would say, fuck you. You're full of shit. Well, now that I'm here, you know, look, man, my girl told me the other day, she told me today, she was like, hey, last night, you pretty much were sleepwalking. Fuck you talking about? She's like, you got up, went to the studio, got in front of the system, and it appeared like you were writing some shit, and then you got up, went back in the bed, and passed out.
Get the fuck out.
I said, babe, I have no recollection of that. But that's me all day.
Yeah.
I will get up.
You're programmed.
I'm programmed.
You're
if the shit is in my head, I'm getting the fuck up.
Yeah,
Because
you're
it's something that's impactful that I gotta write it down. I gotta spit it in my phone and go right back to sleep. It's like going to the bathroom. You don't go, I'm not gonna get up and pee because I don't
Nah, you gotta go, you gotta go.
You gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like I told you, write shit down. You know, your ideas for the podcast, they're gonna come at night.
Yeah,
They're gonna come at when your body's at rest, when your mind is at
Absolutely.
its most calm point.
Well, it's the only time it has, like we just said, when you want your private time, you want your private time. What's the same thing with your body, right? When it leaves all the other shit behind that you're fucking doing constantly, it's the only time it really has
Correct.
to start saying, okay, now it's our time.
Yeah.
Let's go through the thought. Let's go through the process. And again, a lot of people don't capture. I know me and you spoke last time. Fuck, in your sleep, you get the messages,
Yeah.
you remember them, and you put them. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck did he just tell me?
Dude,
I walked out fascinated. I was like, holy fuck, this is wild.
I wrote my album driving in a car.
That's crazy.
And I didn't really understand the significance of it until I just wrote the song when I came here in front of my girl. She never saw that. And then here, we did another shoot here like 3 days later. Yeah. Carlos and my girl spoke. And Carlos said, hey, you need to pay attention to him. If you catch him and he starts writing in his studio, watch him transform. So she saw me transform and then jump into the car. We're in fucking bumper to bumper traffic and I'm fucking just banging it. Like I don't care, man. Like it's, you know, I write all the fucking time, Miguel.
Awesome.
Like it doesn't stop.
That's wild.
I just wrote another song today. I wrote one yesterday, you know.
All right, so tell us what's next for Eric Nelson, bro.
So real quick,
because I know there's some big things. There's some big things coming.
It's a lot of shit. So the video was shot. I actually have a photo shoot when I leave here. I have a show in Orlando coming. We have more shows in Dade County coming. Make sure you are at my Instagram page. You can check my Spotify page as well. All of that is I am Eric Nelson, EricNelson. I'm going to start posting dates. But this summer is not big. The word of the day, everybody, is magnanimous. So if you don't know what the fucking word means.
Magnanimous. All right.
All right. So your word of the day is magnanimous. I'm headlining a tour.
Wow. Okay.
This summer.
Okay.
It's in Europe.
Fuck.
We are between 5 and 8 countries.
Holy shit.
And we're looking at 4 to 5 shows, each one.
Wow.
Once we nail that down, Carlos will then hit up he's already in talks with American tour companies to basically just pattern this tour
follow
that I'm creating.
Nice.
It's me and my friends.
Nice.
So I have another guy here in Miami. I know he's going to be happy as shit when I shot his fucking name out because I actually love this motherfucker, man. I used to manage him, and his name is Shadi. So if you are looking for underground hip hop that's on a major stage, major level, go to my Instagram and look for Shadi. SHOTTIE. He's a filmmaker. He produces his own beats. I'm not sure if he mixes and masters his own stuff. It's either him or his boy, but he's fucking dope. I'm taking him, my boy Cartier that you talked about on here. So this is Billy Hugh with the Flames. Billy Hugh is my fucking hype man.
Nice.
So Billy will be on the stage with me, Cuban Kid.
Okay.
Billy, actually, we live together. So sorry about that. So he's accessible all the time. We're gonna my first album has been closed as of yesterday. So the first album is done.
Fuck, congrats, that's fresh.
So first album is done, and what's great is
when are you dropping?
I don't fucking know, bro. I don't know. dude.
Fuck, everybody want to know.
I mean, the way I would say it is like this. I know we're over time. I'm sorry, Bush.
Don't ever be sorry, bro.
So the random thoughts should be the video should be out. I would say late December, early January. That makes 2 songs, and I would say the album would drop 2 to 3 weeks after that. The sequel won't be shot until we go on tour, because I know I'm letting out of the bag. I don't give a shit. It's going to be the journey.
Nice.
It's fire.
So listen, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. I'm going to thank Eric again for joining and coming through on the show again for a second time, joining us at Breaking Bread. Listen, go check my man out. Support your Miami guy, 305. Not only that, he's going worldwide. This guy's going international. There's a lot of big things coming through. Check out this guy, Shoddy. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Listen, this is a great fucking time and a great community, man. So we want to make sure we support everybody. Again, I want to thank him for coming on the show. I'm excited. I know I'm fucking following. I'm fucking watching. There's a lot of good things my man's coming through with. So check him out, man. And God bless. Thank you again for having us, my brother. Cheers. You've been nothing, bro, but the man coming through second time.
Thank
so
you.
I appreciate you, bro.
I would love to be back at another time.
My doors are open to you, brother, whenever. Honestly,
it,
man, you're one of the good fucking dudes, bro. We can do this shit all the time. Bring your crew. Next time we're going to throw Carlos on here, too. We want to get his side of the story.
That would be dope.
I want to make sure that we give all the recognition we can to everybody we can. But again, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Hit the like button. Make sure you spread the message out to everybody else. We want to get sure as many people as they can see this. Follow. It's free. Trust me, we don't care for the fucking money. We want to make sure we put the right message out to everybody. So, love y'all. Have a good night.
Cheers.